Hi everyone and welcome back. So in today's session we're going to be reconnecting to ourselves, to our inner voice and how we can listen to ourselves. And we're going to be doing that by moving slowly, consciously and awarely with awareness as we're moving through today's yoga flows. And we're going to be working a lot on our balance and these micro adjustments, these micro movements that happen in our body and how we make small adjustments to help us get back on our track. So focusing on where we're going to go by focusing on where we are right now and hearing ourselves. So, as always, we're coming to our mat, standing wherever you are, feet facing forward, knees above as well. We're just going to start by slowly lifting up those feet as we're treading. So we're rippling up and down, taking the time to shift the body weight between the right and the left leg. Allowing the foot to raise up an inch before you place it down. Trying to feel each motion of the foot. And while we're doing this, we're still feeling light in our upper body. We're feeling strong, we're feeling lifted. Our core is engaged, but our focus, the heaviness, is on the feet, the shifting of the weight. Play around with pace for you. To whatever speed is comfortable, to be as slow as possible. Being aware if you're a fast moving person, if you're going through life quite quickly, that even this pace may seem quite slow. So giving yourself time and permission without any judgment or comparison to just work on moving as slowly as you can. Thinking about keeping those knees pointed forward in the whole journey. Feeling the resistance to the ground beneath you. Feeling the curl of the toes. Being aware if it's easier to be slower on one leg to the other. Now the next time we're lifting up the right leg, we're allowing that leg to lift up as high as it can, keeping the left leg straight. We're holding here for a moment. Keeping our body straight, our arms by our side, my left leg is straight, my head is nice and long, and I'm strengthening my hips right now. I may be noticing the twitching sensations in my left foot as my balance, my adjustment is always happening. If you want to increase this, we're going to start by circling the lower leg, trying to keep the knee as straight as you can, doing this in whatever direction. But feeling the engagement even more so in the core, maybe even in the back. Feeling the strengthening happening in the hips. See how slowly you can move that circle. How it may shake your body. How it may affect your balance. And then go again in the opposite direction. Trying to keep that knee up, it may go down slightly. So just being consciously aware if your knee has dropped at all. And then we're going to hug that knee in towards our chest, wherever's natural. Keeping that left leg nice and straight. If we're wanting to, we're going to curve our head towards our knee. Nice and slow, bending the left knee if we need added support. Allowing the body to relax wherever it is. And the left foot to make adjustments to find the balance. Trusting that your body already knows what to do to rebalance and get yourself on course. Completely okay if you wobble and put your foot down. Just come back to it. As with an exhale, you're going to straighten up your body. Bring that knee closer and swing it back so your knees are in line. My body's staying nice and strong, nice and tall. And I'm using both my hands. You can see, using both my hands to pull that foot towards my body. Now with an exhale, I'm holding my foot. So we're coming into dancer pose. I'm pushing my foot against my hand to allow it to lift up wherever is natural. The body may lean slightly forward, but this will happen naturally. As again, we trust ourselves to naturally put ourselves back on course. My left hand is out shoulder height and my gaze is looking at my middle finger. With an exhale, I'm bringing myself back down. My left arm's coming above my head, circling down to the side. I may just stand with my feet hip width apart, bending and straightening the knees, allowing that constant shift of balance to happen as we're in a restful position. And we're going to do a few of these before we move on to the other side. So just reconnect your natural breath, the place where you are right now, feeling the feet grounded on the floor as you give your weight to the mat. Trust in your core, trust in your ability, that whatever direction we're in, we will make those micro adjustments to help us balance, to help us evolve and grow. So coming back again, so that my legs are just underneath my hips. I'm shifting my weight towards the right hand side as I'm allowing that left knee to lift up as high as it can, keeping the stretch in the right leg and strengthening those hips. My body staying nice and tall and strong. I may be noticing a shift in the balance already, wobbling sensations, but I'm being aware, trying to keep that hip and that leg as high as I can. And I'm just going to start, if that works for you today, by circling the lower leg, keeping the knee exactly where it is, just like we did on the other side. Being aware over time, we want to slow that circle down. Noticing if it's easier on one side of the circle than the other. And imagining you're painting a circle, your toes being a paintbrush and the floor and the earth being a canvas. And you're joining up all loose ends. You're drawing out your journey, knowing that all these adjustments is keeping you in this loop, in this track of your life. As we move the circle around the other way, we're reminding ourselves that not always things go to plan, and our journey may change, but we're trusting our balance, we're trusting our core, trusting these micro movements and this innate knowledge of self, that we can do what we need. With an exhale, bringing that knee up towards us, keeping that right leg nice and straight. So we're coming into our stretch. Allowing your body to relax here, and if you want to add something on, you can gently bend the right knee and bring the head towards the left knee nice and slowly, allowing your body to make adjustments, the back relaxing. It's okay if you wobble. You trust that you will catch yourself and come back. So we exhale, lifting up and swing the leg back so the knees are together. My fingers are pointing away from my body, so they're moving away from my big toe. And with an exhale, I'm pushing my foot against my hands, looking at my right middle finger. Here I'm not worrying about how high my leg is, as we're just warming up, but we're focusing on the balance. As I exhale, come down, swing that right arm over my head and down towards my side. Once again, I bring my feet just slightly outside the hip width, and I'm just bending my knees, connecting back to the floor, keeping that shift of balance. Noticing the natural breath, allowing yourself to breathe deeply into your core that we've been working with a lot today. Really trying, as you inhale, to expand your belly outwards as if you're pushing your trousers away. And with every exhale, the core is coming closer to yourself. So we're starting to become aware of our breathing patterns, just as we're moving up and down, whether we're breathing from our throat, our chest, or our stomach. We're not forming any judgment, but knowing that our body is doing what best it can for us right now. As we're trying to bring that movement now into our diaphragmatic area. To do this, we're going to stand in the middle of our mat. My feet are going to be touching together everything facing forward, and I'm coming into chair again by bringing my hands into a prayer position, exhaling, bringing that core in and coming down with a nice flat back as low as works for us. With every inhale, I'm moving my stomach towards my legs. Every exhale, I'm re-engaging that core to check my alignment. And we're going to stay here for 5 breaths. Feeling the movement and the stability. Noticing the connection between both the feet being together. The two have become one, and it's formed a new balance for us. With the next exhale, we're going to bring our chest towards our knees, our hands towards the floor, and we're taking the head in between the knees, allowing our body to relax and slightly tip forward as we're giving our weight towards our hands. We're being trusting because we know that we've got ourselves. We know we can be in unknown territory, that we're not normally on our hands, but that we've still got everything within us to keep us safe. So just play with this rock as you shift from your feet to your hands. Maybe closing your eyes and feeling that sensation of falling forward but knowing that you're completely safe. Trusting in ourselves. And when we're next falling forward, we can allow those legs to spring back as if we're coming into plank, but we lift straight up into downward dog, as we should be more and more aware of the position. And once again, we're going to spend 5 breaths here with an inhale, thinking about expanding that belly, and an exhale, bringing the core back to our spine as we keep our alignment. And when we're doing these 5 breaths, we're making sure our ears are in line with our elbows and that our heels are working towards the floor. And just noticing this expansion that's already within us, this breath that's already here. It keeps us stable and moving forward no matter what we need. And with the 5th and final exhale, you're going to roll forward into a plank and down onto all fours, allowing yourself to adjust to make sure your wrists are underneath your shoulders and your knees are underneath your hips. You're keeping that length in the spine as your gaze is in between your index fingers. And again, we're going to spend 5 breaths here. An exhale, allowing the belly to come out. And an inhale, coming in, reminding ourselves to stay in this nice straight position. As we're becoming aware that our balance is now between 4 places. That things change and our support systems change. Sometimes we may feel on our own, we may be on one leg as we started. Then someone may come close to you, a family member, a friend, a pet. And these 2 people become one in a sense. And then after that, we may be balancing again, but the feet are apart. That we're codependent, but we're also independent. And sometimes we have more pillars. And at different times in our life, these pillars around us may change. And it can be daunting when you're so used to being in one. But here we're working on the flexibility of moving between these pillars and being completely okay. And as we're coming towards the end of this breath, we're going to extend this into our cat. With an inhale, allowing the body, the tummy, to breathe out as the head and tail lifting up. And an exhale, we're bringing that core towards our spine as our head and tail tuck beneath us. And we're going to do a few of these in our own time, trying to stay even between our 4 pillars, our hands and our feet, trying to not shift forwards and backwards as we're moving, but giving equal responsibility to all 4 parts. And as we're doing this, we can name these 4 parts. It could be 4 people we trust. It could be 4 things that we're looking after. It could be 4 things that keep us sane. Our hobbies, our cares, our relaxation. It could be 4 imaginary trips or places. for holiday destinations in the past, present, or potential future. We're creating 4 units of stability. So moving through our cat, staying in line with our breath, and trying to share the load. And in your final exhale, you're going to tuck back as you come into child's pose, allowing the distance between the hands and the legs to change, the purpose of them being different. As we're resting here for a few breaths, just thinking of one thing you can do to yourself today, an act of self-care. It could be from lounging around, permission to say no, turning the phone off, something that you feel would benefit you right now and is the best possible thing for you today, knowing it may not be a permanent solution, but you're giving yourself access to this thing today. With the next exhale, we're rolling it up, with the head being the last thing. So we come onto our knees, and we're opening ourselves up to this change, this lack of stability. So we're now coming back to 2 feet, but we're on a different level, a different stability. We're coming back into our camel. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, bring that left hand towards the left heel and coming back round again. And the aim is to keep the hips solid above the knee, that you're not leaning back to try and touch the toes. Just exhaling and coming back. And it can help to hold the other hand on your hip to keep it where it is. But we're just opening up, following our fingers, giving ourselves this agility, giving ourselves permission to look back and reflect on the past and the lessons we've learned as we move towards our feet, but reminding ourselves that we need to reground and come back forward to where our torso is, to where my weight is, to where I am right now. And as you're opening up, instead of focusing on how far back or how flexible we can be, thinking about something maybe in the past that we're wanting to let go, having been there for too long, a lesson that we feel we could learn from it, or just reground into this present sensation of being forward with my weight in my knees and in my hips, being flexible as my back is moving from the past to the present. And we're going to do 2 more of these on each side, allowing yourself to take what you need. And then when you're at the end of these 2 on each side, coming back into child's pose. Feeling rested again in your hips, where you are in the present. And spreading the fingers, allowing room and possibility to grow in the future. As my fingers are spread, I haven't got one fixed pathway. I've got my direction as I'm moving forward, but I've got 10 digits, I've got 10 options. And right now I can feel the energy as I'm feeling my fingertips on the ground, of positivity and of groundedness in my hips and where I am. My groundedness of being in the present, that I trust that I can navigate around my future. And as we've done today, no matter what our pillars of support are, we can adjust and find what we need. So stay here for a few breaths, feeling the positivity, the connection of the fingers to the floor, and the groundedness of your hips in the present moment. Allowing yourself to focus on the one that you feel you need more today without any judgment or expectation. And we're going to stay here together for 3 nice, natural, deep breaths. Inhale, bringing the chest towards the legs. Exhale, the stomach is moving towards the core. feeling grounded in being. And at the end of your third and final exhale, we're going to roll up, with the head being last. Giving yourself permission to do any other work that you feel you may need. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you soon.